Hi and welcome back to the tutorial for the real-time mod. As you have witnessed in the last episode, these are the settings I use in the mod for the day start and working hour shifts. We pick it up where we left off. We built one part of a city and we are about to unlock Busy Town. Uh, we have some education in the city, but not beyond level 1. We left off with building City Hall. I'll make some more trees around it and we'll discuss what's going to happen in this episode. Because in this episode, we'll be discussing two major problems, the education paradox and the waste dilemma. And they both come into play as soon as you are reaching Big Town, which we'll do eventually later on in this video. At this moment, I'm just expanding on my first part of the city, and I'm actually making part of a copy for the second. Um, I make a second industrial area, so I have jobs for all the future people. Most of these, or actually all of these factories, are still in level 1 because I have no educated workers, or how to say, no high school graduates. So I'm now dividing actually the wood lumber yard from the industrial area so I can upgrade the industrial area later. Here we have reached Busy Town, so I can upgrade most of my streets into beautification, trees with streets with trees. I do that in the old part of town, just alongside where there's a commercial area, because I really like this difference between the old part of town where parks are being carved in the street and the new part of town where everything is modern and neat and prosperous. In this new part of town, I have started to build my education facilities, school, and the medical clinic. And because of the um, education paradox, I try to minimize actually the amount of people which are coming in here, but yeah, I'll have to expand at least half the quarter anyway. But that's for later care. Now we have unlocked the nice 2-lane and 4-lane road, so I'm going to put out my arterial road, which is going to transport um, traffic from and to the highway alongside the residential area. And I'll transform the highway into a 6-lane road because, yeah, I like that actually. And it seems to do the trick as well. Again, either you're on a highway going speed X or you're on the 6-lane road going a little bit slower. That's what happens when you enter a city. I make the 4-lane road enter into two and exit into one-way roads, if you can follow that. And here I replace the highway with 6-lane roads. The 6-lane roads have to enter roundabouts which are constructed from highway parts, whereas the 4-lane road can nicely enter into one-way 2-lane roundabout. As you can see, the difference in light and night, tax income is on the rise. We'll make a little jump ahead because at nighttime there is no construction happening, so why bother filming? At night some events do happen. You'll have fires, you'll have criminal reports, but if you have sufficient fire and police coverage, they won't do any damage. Upgrading the roads at the industrial area. Well, let's start talking about the education paradox, because that soon is going to happen, that will reach a busy or big town. Um, there is a funny way how the education is set in the real-time mod. As you can see, if you start building, no one is educated yet, not even elementary school. So the first inhabitants really have to go to school for 5 days, then they'll graduate and they'll enter high school. If you look at the panel for the elementary school, all the all the houses are red in the beginning. Red as meaning there are no everybody is uneducated. But as soon as you build a college, that changes. All of a sudden, new inhabitants will go straight to college and will how do you say, be college educated within a couple of days. But in the meantime, their education level for the elementary school and the education level for the high school remains red, zero. So we have people who are allowed to enter the college without being eligible in case of prior education, but they do attend college, and you'll see that the numbers of eligible college students, actual college students, and college graduates will will how do you say, go nuts. So as soon as we reach Busy Town, I will start building a university, because this applies to every new citizen which is coming in after the, the college has been founded. Well, with this one in place, there's a second issue that's going to come into play now, and that's the waste dilemma. Either I wait with building more waste incinerators until my tax income rises, or I do it immediately, so I only have to empty 2.5 landfills and be gone with those landfills. Um, I will take the immediate approach here. My money will be, my income will be depleted. As you can see in the figures down, that the waste dilemma and the education paradox is going to have an impact of 6,745 smilolians for 40 minutes in my case. As you can see, I have a negative income at this moment, but this will soon change because of the education paradox. Because these people are high density housing, attract a lot more people at once, and in the meantime, it will boost up my income very much, because of their highly how to say this, they skip the education path of elementary and high school. As you can see, passing by from time to time when I go to that screen, that the number of educated, college educated people will not remain red. It will actually become blue quite soon. I'm not stopping to pass that, and maybe I'll do that later on, and I'll make it visible how this education paradox comes into play. Well, my waste is being taken care of. I'm already into green figures again, but that's not for the whole day. Now, this is also one of the main reasons I do not set up a how to say, public transport network, because without the high density housing, it's not it's hard to make it profitable. Maybe it's possible, but I haven't been able to do so. It actually cost me a lot of money, um, which I now just keep in the pocket, and I let people be in a traffic jam from time to time. 2 times a day, traffic is worst in my city. At those 2 times, there is a small traffic jam, but not, nothing to worry about. Later on, we'll build uh, the subway, because the university attracts a lot of traffic. you could already see that there was not everything was red anymore in the view for education. I'm already making preparations to make a third quarter, immediately adjacent to this one. I like this kind of symmetry. We just passed small city, and now we're now, it's not possible to build train station, but we're not going to keep up the beautification, because that is something which is also in the real-time mod an issue. There you can see the redness is fading already for the college graduates. Tax income is really rising now. That's the result of a couple of elementary schools and some high schools which are pouring out graduates, and the graduates make it happen that housing level rises to level 2, 3, and I'll have some of 4 as well. There you go. A nice steady income. I like to shield my industrial incinerators with some trees and some office blocks, so you don't have to look at it. Well, because I have now my high density housing, I'm starting to make preparations for my subway line, which will start here and be able to pick up passengers also from the other side of the 4-lane road. I have one stop, of course, uh, at the university. I make one stop here at the end and one stop in my industrial area. So it might even reduce some traffic in how do you say, traffic jam hours. In the vanilla game, you can do all sorts of different approaches with your public transport system, but in this mod, yeah, it's actually a little bit harder, and in a good way to make a working transport system. And working in this case means not sucking away all your money, because you want to have this nice train station somewhere, and hardly anyone is using it. I have just this one line taking people across city, and let's check it out and tweak the subway line. It's a nice thing that people are flowing in immediately. This is going to be a busy station. You can adjust the amount of vehicles on the line. And there are a lot of people there now, so let's put some extra trains in. Means this line is going to be a quite successful one. You'll see that when I open up the economic panel, that sometimes this line is going to make a small profit. Really, sometimes it makes a huge profit, and most of the time it will lose some money. But yeah, that's the thing with public transport. It's hard to make much money about it, and that's in real time as well as in game time. Well, this is all going flexible, and because there's a high need for more high school education facilities, let's put it right next to the subway station, because probably later on I might move the college to a more favorable position. Wind energy might fluctuate from time to time, but that's okay. I'm happy with the subway. There you go, my education paradox. It's already immediately upgrading and hence bringing in more tax money. Here we'll have the education paradox visible. Here you see a lot of blue houses already in the newest built area of town. In the old part of town it's all red. We have an amount of college attendance which is not comparable to the amount of eligible students. So take this lesson out of this tutorial. Let's take a look at the education graph and tell me when was the college being built. I can see it happening. Thanks for watching. See you next episode.